Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Tasos Kalimos. Happy to be joining you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope your week is going off to a great start. We have the first day of our Kilimos Christmas Challenge starting today. Make sure to tune in. We will have the Christmas Challenge going all the way through and Monday through Christmas Day starting next week. So, if you guys don't remember last week, I kind of talked about what this challenge would be. Essentially, we are going for big plus money plays. We are big game hunting for the next week. We're going for parlays of plus 500 odds or better. Now, why are we doing this? Well, it's the holiday season. You guys have all been shopping a lot, doing your Christmas spending, trying to win you guys some money back. So the theory here, especially if we're doing for like 6 days, 5-6 days, realistically, you need to hit one parlay to basically break even. We hit 2 parlays. We are big. We're up like 5-6 units. So, in 6 days, can we hit 2 out of 6 parlays? That's the goal. Obviously, if we hit more, it's even better. But if we hit 2 out of 6 parlays, we are up big. Even if we hit 1 parlay at the very minimum, we're broken even. So that's kind of the goal here. We are big game hunting. We're looking for big plays here. And so that's what we're doing. So first day of the Kilimos Christmas Challenge, let's dive in. As always, I use DraftKings as my sportsbook of choice. Just let you know where I'm getting my odds and my picks from. And guys, for the first leg of our 4-leg parlay, we have Gordon Hayward of the Charlotte Hornets against the Indiana Pacers over 15.5 points. Now, Hayward has hit this over of 15.5 points in 13 out of 22 games this season for the Charlotte Hornets. That is a 59% hit rate on the year for Gordon Hayward. But if you look at the chart here, he has hit this in 6 of his last 7 games. So he has been heating up. His last game, he only had 9 points. But he has been heating up overall 6 of his last 7 games. He has hit this over of 15.5 points. But more importantly, in each of his last 5 matchups versus the Indiana Pacers, he has crushed this number, including when they met back on November the 4th of this season. He had 23 points. So not only did he hit this number, he blew through this number. And this counts for all of them, right? You look at 22 points, 18 points, 25 points, 27 points. The lowest scoring game he's had versus Indiana in the last 5 matchups. You got to go back to December 29th, 2021. He had 18 points, which still cashes this over. And the matchup data is there. The Indiana Pacers are currently giving up the 4th most points in the NBA to the small forward position. So he's done this consistently against the Pacers. It's a good matchup. I like the spot here for Gordon Hayward over 15.5 points. All right, guys, the second leg is what I consider to be the riskiest leg of this parlay. Just a fair warning. I like to warn you guys when there's a pick that I'm taking that is a little risky, that I'm being honest and telling you this is I'm taking a swing here. We're going the Sixers-Timberwolves game. I'm going Joel Embiid under 35.5 points. Now, there is data to back us up here, right? He has hit this in 15 out of 23 games this season, this under of 35.5 points. That is a 65% hit rate on the season. So he is hitting this at this under of 35.5 points at a consistent rate. And when you look at the head-to-head, he has hit this under in 2 of his last 4 games versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, a 50% hit rate. Not fantastic, but not bad either. But the reason I love this pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves are giving up the second fewest points to the center position in the NBA. They're only giving up 19.36 points per game to the center position. This is the best defensive team in the NBA, specifically against bigs, but they're also the best defense in the NBA overall this season. Minnesota has been a parlay killer in terms of overs, right? If you bet overs against this Minnesota team, you have lost consistently. They cash unders. Now, although I like the matchup stats, the problem here is the fact that Joel Embiid is a superstar, and like the last time they played last season, he had 39 points against this Minnesota team, which is basically the same. Now, they are better, and it feels like Minnesota this year have finally figured out their shit, but it was still that Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns duo when they played. So that is to be taken into consideration. It's why I consider it a risk. I do like the spot here. He has had a really hot streak of covering this over against bad teams. I think Minnesota will keep him at bay a little bit. I still think he can go off for 30 plus. To see him go 36 or more. This Minnesota team, maybe I'm wrong here, but they have been fantastic this year, and I'm going to keep betting the trend that they're going to keep holding opposing centers to lower scoring point totals. So give me the under here, 35.5 points for Joel Embiid. And for the third leg of our parlay, guys, we're targeting the Nuggets-Raptors game, giving Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets over 15.5 points plus assists, a stack combo player prop. Michael Porter Jr. has hit this over in 17 out of 28 games for the Denver Nuggets this season. That is a 61% hit rate on the year. Pretty good numbers. And if you look at the head-to-head matchup, each of the last 2 times that he played the Toronto Raptors last year, he crushed this over. Now, anybody who watches basketball knows Michael Porter Jr., not a fan of passing the ball. He has that Mamba mentality. Does not like assists. And it's funny that we took a points plus assist player combo here, but the reason we do that is because if he gets sprinkling a couple assists here and there, which is possible, it only helps the number. When he hits this over this season, he doesn't just hit it, he blows through it. And he's going to cover this mostly in points. He is a shooter, shoot. And that's kind of the risk here, is that if he has an off night, you're kind of screwed. But if you look at the trend right now, you look at his last 20 games, he doesn't do this back to back. Like, he missed his last game. He only had 8 points and 1 assist on December 18th versus Dallas. He has not in the last 20 games lost this consecutively. So when he hits the under here, the very next game he always hits the over. That is the trend that we've seen over the last 20 games. He has not hit a back-to-back loss. So we're gonna keep going with that and hope that's still true, and that is still the case here. So I'm gonna go with the over 15.5 points here. And just to sweeten my case, the Raptors are giving up the 6th most points in the NBA to the small forward position. So I mean, this is a good defensive matchup too for Michael Porter Jr. I think he could score quite a bit on this Toronto team. All right, guys, and for the 4th and final leg of this parlay, we're throwing a big odd bet in here just to sprinkle something in to get this to over plus 500. Those first 3 picks, when you parlay them alone, is plus 395. Not bad, but we need to get that plus 500. We're going to take Luka Doncic, alternate line, under 12.5 assists, minus 370, so a pretty high odd bet here. Under 12.5 assists. Doncic says cover this under of 12.5 assists in 22 out of 25 games this year. That's an 88% hit rate. And when you look at the head-to-head, it's astonishing. He has covered this in each of his last 8 matchups versus the Clippers. He is crushing this under. The highest assist total he's had against the Clippers since November of 2021 is 9 assists. So he has crushed this under every time he's played the Clippers in the last 2 or 3 years. And it makes sense. The Clippers are giving up the 6th fewest assists in the league to the point guard position, so it's a good matchup here for Doncic as well. And so, guys, when you put those 4 picks together, you get a parlay of plus 528 odds. Not bad. Like I said, we're not going too crazy first day of the challenge. Plus 528 odds. A lot of great spots here. Every parlay is a gamble, but I really do feel confident in this one. Let's start the challenge off with a nice win. Sound off in the comments if you're riding or if you're fading. No problem if you're fading. Also, I've told, like last video I said, if you guys don't love the whole parlay, you're absolutely free to pick and choose like an all-you-can-eat buffet and take, what you guys like out of the parlay and put in your own. That's totally fine. But if you are following the challenge, if you are riding, make sure to comment that you are riding with me, guys. That is it. First day of the Cleveland's Christmas Challenge. We are going through this all the way through Christmas. Let's cash. Again, the goal here in the next, I think it's 6 or 7 days, if we get 2 of these parlays, or even 1, you're looking good, right? 1 parlay, and you're already at the very bare minimum. You're not going to lose any money in this challenge. We hit 2 parlays. Now we're cooking. So let's start off strong. Let's get that first one out of the way so we can go bet comfortably the rest of this challenge. Guys, until tomorrow when we come back for day 2 of the Cleveland's Christmas Challenge, I will see you all and hope you're all winners.